everybody. Welcome to the Lotus Podcast. This is episode 2, and I'm Heather Weebner, and I'm here to share some inspiration with you today. I hope that you're settling into 2021 nicely. I sure am, and it's going to get even better. In this podcast, we're going to discuss today how your thoughts create your reality. So as you're moving forward into the new year, here's another little tidbit that'll help you keep things on a positive note. So let's talk about, everybody's had a bad day, of course. I'm talking about one of those really bad days where you get up in the morning and as soon as your feet hit the floor, everything goes wrong. And it continues throughout the whole day. It just gets worse. You know, one thing leads to another and you're like, I can't believe I'm having a day like this. What in the world? This is not my day. And it keeps on going until you literally go to bed that night. So what happens is sometimes we get into what's called a negative thought pattern. And, you know, you got up that morning and you got to the bathroom to brush your teeth and the toothpaste was all gone. And instead of saying, oh, the toothpaste is gone, I'll use what's in the cap here. And when I go to the store, I can get a brand new flavor. That's something exciting. Well, no, instead you grumble all day because your toothpaste was gone and you didn't get to use a full squirt, whatever. And it just keeps going from there. Everything that happens to you, you know, you have a negative response to, or you think about something negative and then it happens. So recognizing this negative thought pattern is key in changing it. So let me talk to you about an avalanche. Let's just talk about an avalanche. So negative thoughts are like an avalanche. When you're at the top of that hill, your negative thought is that snowball. And as it moves down the hill and you add another negative thought to it, of course it grows, it picks up strength, it picks up speed, and negative thoughts produce more negative thoughts. And so as this snowball's rolling down the hill, there's nothing to stop it. So basically you're at the top of the hill in the morning, and as you go through your day, your snowball just keeps getting bigger and it doesn't stop until it gets to the bottom of the hill, which is when you finally go to bed that night. What needs to happen is something needs to stop those negative thoughts and redirect them onto a positive path. So think about that white snowy mountain, and then there's a huge big tree in the middle of that mountain, and that snowball's coming down the hill and it hits that tree, smack, stops it in its track, and maybe a piece of it rolls another direction. So think about your thoughts. You're having all these negative thoughts. Negative things are happening. The day is just bad. You want to change that. So you become that tree to stop those negative thoughts. And once that big, humongous negative snowball breaks apart, another small piece of it will roll a different direction or down a different path. And that's the switch where your thoughts become positive, and you have to start filtering positive thoughts into where you're at. So it's kind of hard to recognize sometimes because we're so busy with 1,000 thoughts a day, you know, getting to work, doing our daily house chores, taking care of a family, you know, walking the dog, whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of moving parts for everybody. So it's hard to really stop and think about your thoughts, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but thinking about your thoughts. Are they positive? Are they negative? Am I in a good place, you know, with where I'm at? And so it's not something where you really say, wow, that was a really negative thought, or, oh, these are negative thoughts. It's something that you almost feel more than think. So, you know, when things aren't going well, you feel it. You feel out of sync, you know, things aren't quite right. So there's an opportunity to change that. It's just a matter of recognizing that, oh, I had a really negative thought there. I could have had a different response or a different thought about that situation. It's kind of like when your glass is half empty or half full. I'm sure you've heard that saying too. And I look at that as a negative, positive thing. When you look at the glass and you think it's half empty, that's a negative thought because you've already used most of it and that's all you have left. But if you look at the glass and say, oh, my glass is still half full, oh, well, that's a good thing and it's a positive thought because I don't have, you know, there's still positive there. It's not a negative. So I'm going to tell you a story. This is kind of one of those things where my thoughts really created my reality. And it's a crazy story, but I'm going to tell it to you. We have a Boston Terrier. Her name is Tinkerbell, and I'm going to tell you how we came to be Tinkerbell's family. So I have a love for Boston Terrier dogs, and we did have a dog before, Boston Terrier, And I got the itch to get another Boston. So we're without a dog at this point. This is about 2 years ago. And I said to my husband, I really, really am ready for a Boston Terrier again. I really would like to have one. And shortly after that, friends of ours got a Boston Terrier puppy and invited us to come see the puppy. So we went, and of course, we're dog lovers, and I'm a puppy lover. And so I held this puppy, and it sparked everything in me. I really, really wanted one now. So we're busy, and I was like, I don't know if we have time to train a puppy right now. This is, I don't know if we can handle a puppy, but let's look for some type of a dog. I'm ready. A couple of days later, now I'm thinking about this dog thing a lot. And a couple of days later, my husband bumped into a coworker, and she said, hey, so-and-so has some dogs, 2 dogs they're looking to get rid of. They need to find a new home for them because something with a health issue. I won't get into the details of all that, and my husband said, okay, well, let me talk to Heather and see what's going on. So we went to look at the dogs thinking, well, this might be, we could adopt them. They need a home. We're looking for a dog. This might be a great fit. So we went to see these dogs, and unfortunately, it was not a great fit. The dogs were beautiful, but way too big for our family. In fact, the one just knocked my son over as soon as we walked in the door, and I don't think I could have held him to walk him. He was that big. So anyway, we had to decline and leave the dogs there. So as we were driving home that night, I was deflated again, because now we just saw this cute puppy the other night, and now we're looking at these dogs, and I really have the itch to get a Boston. And I said out loud, I just want a Boston Terrier to drop out of the sky. You say crazy things. And I was desperate. I'm like, I just want a Boston Terrier to drop out of the sky. Well, the next morning we woke up, and we felt sad that we didn't have the dogs and we didn't bring them home. But we still knew it was not the right fit. And that evening I went to the grocery store. And as I was walking into the store, I bumped into an old friend. I hadn't seen her for a while, and we were like, oh, hey. And she said, the first question she said to me was, do you still have your Boston Terrier? And I think my chin might have just hit the floor, and I was like, no, why? And she said, well, my mom lives about 3 hours away, and she takes care of an elderly woman who has a Boston Terrier. And she just simply cannot take care of her anymore. This woman was going to be turning 90. And she said, the dog is about 5 years old, but she's looking for a home, for the dog, because she just can't take care of her. And she said, I know you love Bostons, and I was actually going to text you, but here I bumped into you. So, are you interested? And I said, well, I want to jump up and down and say yes, because this has been topic of discussion this week, particularly. But I said, I got to run it by Mark, make sure, but I'm pretty sure. So I said, I'll call you when you get home. So I left, got my groceries and left, came home. And of course, Mark was like, yes, let's look at the dog. So long story short, we went to see the dog, drove 3 hours, and the little old woman, she's so sweet, she said, she wasn't going to let the dog go until she met the family to make sure it was a good fit and everything. And of course we got there, and Tinkerbell is the Boston Terrier. Tinkerbell loved us, loved the kids, and we call her Mama June, her name is June. She blessed us with Tinkerbell. And not only did she give us Tinkerbell, but she gave us the crate and multiple winter coats and raincoats and doggy bags and leashes and all the good stuff that goes with the doggy. So that's kind of pointless in my story. But what I'm saying is that was a thought pattern, a positive thought pattern I had for the week, wanting a dog and just saying, I just wish one would fall from the sky. It's almost as if she did. So anyway, what I'm saying is be careful of your thoughts, because they do sometimes create your reality. It also works negative. If you really think, I can't do that. Oh my gosh, that's never going to happen. It might not happen, because you've already kind of put that into motion. They're the type of person that it's kind of like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, don't bother, woe is me. That's a negative thought pattern, continual negative thought pattern, but it can be broken. So it takes a lot of work to move that around. And the first step is recognizing it. So when you're having a negative thought, don't be hard on yourself. Just say, oh, this is what Heather was talking about. I'm having one of those negative thoughts. And if I have a negative thought here, it might make another one. So let's stop it in its tracks. So having said that, this is something I always say to my kids. With Tinkerbell, I guess the topic of this discussion is almost Tinkerbell. Somehow I got the job of scooping doggy doo in the yard when she's done. And so sometimes, there's a couple piles out there and I go out to scoop up the doggy doo. And it's an unpleasant job. Nobody really likes to do that. I certainly don't, but it needs done. And I always tell the kids that when I go out there, I could have a bad negative attitude or negative thoughts about what I'm doing and say, oh, this dog poop stinks and this is gross and I wish you would go in the toilet. I could have a really bad thought pattern about that. But I choose to say with every scoop, I am so glad to have a Boston Terrier. I love that little dog so much. She's so stinking cute. She can't help she has to poop outside. And I go on and on in my head and talk myself through it in a positive way. And at the end of that, kind of disgusting chore, it's not so bad. And I'm happy to do it. I'm glad to take care of her and to keep our yard, landmine free. And anyway, that's the thought process. So it's a matter of recognizing that I could have this mindset about this and a really negative thought or thoughts, or I could make this less of a daunting task and put a positive spin to it. So now this is not always applicable. I mean, there are certain situations that are just downright negative or devastating, and I get that. But in your daily life, as you're going about things, chores or whatever, try it with your chore load first. If laundry's not your thing and, you're fussing the whole way down the steps with the hamper, I hate to do laundry. Why can't everybody just go make it so I don't have to do this? That kind of thing. Think, well, I'm sure lucky that I have clothes and my kids are lucky that they have clothes. And wow, look at these fuzzy towels we have to dry off after our shower, and put yourself in a positive mindset. I know it sounds sort of trivial, but at the end of the day, it's gonna make a better world for you and for those around you. So as we go forward this week, I want you to think about recognizing those negative thoughts and seeing if you can turn that frown upside down and make it a positive situation. So as we go on, think about that. I'm also gonna say, if you tuned into episode 1, I was talking about improvement plan for the new year. And if you haven't found your accountability partner yet, I'm gonna just say, hey, how's that improvement plan going now? So make you think about that again too. All right, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support. I hope that these inspirations are helping you. Now, go be the light, love, and be loved. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.